I still remember the flickering glow of the candles I had bought for my own birthday cake. They were tucked away in a drawer, waiting for tomorrow night when my friends would come over. I was actually excited, not because I care much about birthdays, but because my girlfriend Emily had been dropping hints all week about surprise she was planning. We'd been together for almost 2 years, and I thought we were in a solid place. Sure, we had our small arguments, mostly about me working late or her wanting more time together, but I figured every couple had that. I believed that tomorrow would be another reminder that she really cared about me. That's why, when she walked into my apartment that evening with a serious expression, I assumed maybe she had a tough day at work. I offered her a glass of wine, cracked a dumb joke about how she looked like she was about to fire me from a job I didn't have, and waited for her to laugh. She didn't. Instead, she sat down on the couch, folded her hands in her lap, and said the words that made my stomach drop. "We need to take a break." At first, I honestly thought she was joking. I even chuckled and asked if this was part of the surprise. But the way her eyes shifted away from mine told me she meant every word. And just like that, the night before what was supposed to be my celebration turned into the night I started questioning everything I thought I knew about us. My first reaction was confusion, not anger. I leaned forward, trying to catch her eyes. "A break? From what?" "From me," I asked, my voice breaking between disbelief and a weak laugh. Emily sighed and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, the way she always did when she was nervous. "It's not that I don't care about you. I do. But lately, I feel like I can't breathe. Like we're just going through the motions. And I don't want to wake up one day and resent you." Her words stung more than if she had shouted at me. Going through the motions. I thought we were building something real. I'd been saving for a weekend trip for us, even considered moving in together by the end of the year. And here she was, talking about suffocation. I tried to keep my voice steady. "Emily, tomorrow is my birthday. You couldn't have waited? Or at least talk to me before dropping this out of nowhere." She looked guilty, but not enough to take it back. "That's exactly why I had to say it tonight. I didn't want to fake it through your birthday. That wouldn't be fair to either of us." I felt my chest tighten. Fair? What was fair about ripping the floor out from under me less than 24 hours before people I love would gather to celebrate? The silence between us grew heavy, broken only by the hum of the fridge in the kitchen. I stared at her, searching for something. Regret, hesitation, anything that might give me hope. But all I saw was someone who had already made up her mind. And in that moment, I realized tomorrow wasn't going to be about balloons, cake, or laughter. It was going to be about pretending I wasn't falling apart. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, the shadows from the streetlights cutting across my room like bars of a cage. My phone buzzed a few times, birthday messages from friends who were excited for tomorrow. Each notification felt like a cruel reminder of the celebration I no longer wanted. Emily had left right after our talk, saying she needed space. She kissed me on the cheek before walking out, and that small gesture almost broke me more than her words. It felt like a goodbye disguised as kindness. By morning, my apartment felt emptier than usual. I sat at the kitchen table, sipping cold coffee, scrolling through old photos of us. Beach trips, movie nights, silly selfies. We looked happy, or at least I did. When my best friend Jason called to confirm the party details, I almost told him to cancel. But instead, I forced a smile into my voice. "Yeah, of course. I'll see you tonight." I couldn't bring myself to ruin his excitement. All day, I walked around in a haze. People at work wished me a happy birthday, and I nodded, pretending. Inside, it felt like I was living someone else's day. By the time I got home in the evening, balloons were already tied to my balcony railing, courtesy of Jason. A cake box sat on the counter. My apartment was slowly transforming into a place of celebration, and yet all I wanted was silence. Then came the knock at the door. For a second, my heart leapt, thinking it might be Emily changing her mind. I opened it, and it was her. But she wasn't carrying a gift or a smile. She was carrying something else entirely. Emily stood there, holding a small paper bag from the bakery down the street, the one where she knew I loved the chocolate croissants. But her face wasn't warm. It wasn't the face of someone coming to celebrate. "I didn't want you to think I forgot your birthday," she said quietly, handing me the bag. "I just didn't want to leave things on such a harsh note." I took it, staring at her. The gesture felt like pouring sugar on a wound. Sweet, but useless. So what is this? A peace offering? Or pity? I asked, more sharply than I intended. Her shoulders tensed. It's just, I care about you, okay? Even if I don't know what I want right now. That sentence hit me harder than the break itself. She didn't know what she wanted. And I was supposed to sit in limbo, waiting until she figured out? Inside, my friends are starting to arrive, their laughter echoing down the hallway. I felt panic rising. How could I face them with this hanging over me? How could I smile when Emily had just ripped the ground from beneath me? I lowered my voice. Do you really think it's fair to drop this on me last night, then show up today like nothing's wrong? You didn't want to fake it, but now I have to. She flinched, and for the first time I saw her eyes water. But she didn't argue. She just whispered, "I'm sorry," and turned to leave. I stood frozen in the doorway, croissant bag in hand, listening to her footsteps fade. Behind me, Jason shouted, "Hey man, where's the birthday boy?" And just like that, I had to plaster on a smile and walk back inside while my heart felt like it had been left outside in the hallway with her. The moment I stepped back inside, Jason slapped me on the back so hard the bag nearly fell from my hand. "Man, you look like you've seen a ghost. Relax, it's your big night." I forced a laugh, muttering something about being tired from work. More friends poured in, carrying bottles of wine, chips, and way too many balloons. The apartment buzzed with energy, but all I could feel was the hollow echo of Emily's absence. The cake sat on the counter, its bright blue frosting declaring happy birthday. In cheerful letters. I stared at it, wondering if anyone else could see how fake my smile was. As the night went on, people raised toasts, clinked glasses, and shared stories. Jason leaned over to me at one point and said, "You're lucky, man. You've got everything. Good job, good friends, great girl. Can't ask for more." I almost choked on my drink. I wanted to blur out the truth that the great girl had broken up with me less than 24 hours ago. But the words stuck in my throat. Instead, I nodded and mumbled, "Yeah, I guess." Every time my phone buzzed, I prayed it was Emily saying she'd changed her mind. It never was. Just birthday wishes from distant relatives or notifications from social media. At some point, someone put on music, and people started dancing in my living room. I slipped away to the balcony, needing air. The city lights stretched out in front of me, but I couldn't focus on anything except the ache in my chest. Jason found me there a few minutes later, leaning against the railing. "You good, man?" I swallowed hard, debating whether to tell him the truth. My secret was burning inside me, begging to get out. And that's when I realized maybe I didn't want to hide it anymore. I took a deep breath, the cool night air filling my lungs, but it didn't steady me. Jason stood beside me, arms crossed, waiting. He wasn't the type to push, which somehow made it harder. Finally, I said it. "Emily told me last night that she wants a break." Jason's head snapped toward me. "Wait, what? A break? As in a breakup?" "She says it's not forever. That she just needs space." My voice cracked on the last word, and I hated how weak it sounded. Jason let out a low whistle and shook his head. "And she dropped that bomb the night before your birthday? Damn, man, that's brutal." I laughed bitterly. "Tell me about it. Everyone in there thinks I've got this perfect life. Meanwhile, I'm standing out here wondering if the girl I love even wants me anymore." Jason was quiet for a moment, then clapped a hand on my shoulder. "Look, I don't know what's going on in her head, but you don't deserve this. Not like this. You've always given her everything." His words should have comforted me, but instead they twisted the knife. Because deep down, I wondered if that was the problem, if I had given everything and still wasn't enough. Inside, someone called my name. Jason gave me a sympathetic look. "You don't have to fake it tonight. If you want, I'll tell everyone you're not feeling well and clear them out." I shook my head quickly. "No, I can't spend my birthday alone. Not after this." So I plastered the smile back on, walked inside, and let my friends cheer as if nothing had happened. But all I could think about was the empty space beside me where Emily should have been, and the terrifying possibility that she might never come back to fill it. By the time the last guest left, it was almost 2 a.m. The apartment looked like a battlefield, empty cups, crumpled napkins, half-eaten snacks everywhere. But the mess didn't bother me. What bothered me was how the silence hit me the second the door closed behind Jason. For hours, I had been surrounded by laughter and noise. Now it was just me. Me, the sagging balloons, and that untouched bakery bag Emily had handed me. I opened it slowly. Inside was a single chocolate croissant, already going stale. I stared at it until my vision blurred. I sat on the couch, scrolling through birthday photos people had tagged me in. Smiling faces, raised glasses, arms slung around my shoulders. In every picture, I looked like a man who had everything. But in reality, I felt emptier than I ever had in my life. I thought about calling Emily, begging her to reconsider. But then I remembered the way she looked at me when she said, "I don't know what I want." That wasn't uncertainty. That was a decision wrapped in hesitation. Somewhere around 3 a.m., I finally blew out the candles on the cake. Alone. No cheers, no applause, just me whispering a wish into the quiet room. And it wasn't even a wish for happiness. It was simply, please let me wake up tomorrow and feel less broken than I do right now. The wax dripped down into the frosting, ruining the blue letters. I didn't even care. I just cut a slice, ate it in silence, and left the rest sitting there like a monument to a night that wasn't supposed to happen this way. As I dragged myself to bed, one thought echoed in my mind. Maybe birthdays aren't about getting older. Maybe they're just brutal reminders of who will and won't be there when the candles go out. I woke up late the next morning, my head heavy, not from alcohol, but from the weight of everything that had happened. The half-eaten cake still sat on the counter, the frosting hardened and candles leaning like exhausted soldiers. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. For a second, my heart leapt. Maybe Emily had changed her mind. Maybe she realized she made a mistake. It was her. But the message wasn't what I hoped for. "Hey, I hope your birthday went okay. I just wanted to say I didn't mean to hurt you. I really do care about you. I just need time to figure myself out. Please understand." I stared at the screen, reading it over and over. The words "care about you" felt like a consolation prize. Not love, not commitment. Just care. I typed out 3 different replies. One was angry, "You ruined everything." Another was desperate, "Please don't do this, I need you." The third was cold, "Take all the time you want, I'm done." I deleted them all. In the end, I just set the phone down and went to make coffee. Because the truth was, no matter what I wrote, it wouldn't change the fact that she was already gone in her heart. Later that day, Jason dropped by to check on me. He took one look at the cake, the balloons, the mess, and then at me. "She texted, didn't she?" I nodded, sliding the phone across the table so he could read it. He shook his head slowly. "Man, that's not a break. That's her easing you into goodbye." I wanted to argue. I wanted to defend her. But deep down, I knew he was right. Still, I wasn't ready to say the words out loud. Not yet. The following week crawled by in slow motion. Every morning, I woke up with the same hollow pit in my chest. Every night, I went to bed replaying our last conversation, wondering if there was something I could have said to change her mind. Emily didn't call. She didn't show up. Just the occasional text, polite, distant, like she was checking in on a coworker, not someone she'd once claimed to love. Each message chipped away at the hope I was still clinging to. One night, I sat on the couch scrolling through old photos of us again. There was one from last summer, Emily in my hoodie, laughing with her hair a mess, holding a melting ice cream cone. She looked so alive, so mine. I stared at it until my eyes burned. That's when it hit me. The person in that photo didn't exist anymore. Not for me. Whatever we had, whatever we built, she had already stepped out of it. And I was the only one still standing inside, clutching the pieces like they could magically come back together. The break wasn't a pause. It was a slow, careful way of saying goodbye without having to say the word. And maybe the cruelest part was that she had chosen the night before my birthday to tell me. A date that would forever be burned into my memory, not as a celebration of life, but as the start of our ending. I closed my phone, shoved it into a drawer, and whispered to the empty room, "I can't keep waiting for someone who's already gone." For the first time in days, the weight in my chest shifted. It didn't disappear, but it felt like the beginning of something else. Acceptance. The final straw came 2 weeks later. I ran into Emily at a coffee shop near her office. She was with a co-worker I'd never met before, laughing at something he said. The way she looked at him, eyes bright, smile effortless, was the same way she used to look at me. She saw me, froze for a split second, then gave a small, awkward wave. I nodded back, but I didn't stop. For the first time, I didn't feel like chasing after her. I just walked past, the sound of their laughter fading behind me. That night, I sat on my balcony with a beer, the city buzzing below. It was the same spot where I confessed everything to Jason. But this time, the air didn't feel suffocating. It felt clean, sharp, almost new. I thought about all the years I'd spent giving, hoping, bending myself to make someone else happy. And I realized I had forgotten the simplest thing, my own happiness. The birthday that should have broken me had, in a strange way, given me a gift I hadn't asked for: clarity. I wasn't going to wait around for someone who didn't know if they wanted me. I wasn't going to measure my worth by whether or not I fit into someone else's figuring things out. I picked up my phone, and instead of staring at old photos, I deleted them. All of them. Not out of anger, but out of acceptance. When Jason called later to check in, I told him the truth for the first time in weeks. "I think I'm finally done," I said. He laughed softly. "About time. Now maybe you can actually enjoy your next birthday." And for the first time since Emily walked out, I smiled, not the fake, plastered kind, but a real one, because I knew he was right. My next birthday would be different. Not because of who stood beside me, but because of the person I was becoming.